between Iowa and Iowa State. 129 miles separate Ames and Iowa City. And tonight they do battle on the hardwood in the Cy-Hawk series. The 7-1 Cyclones and the 6-2, 18th ranked Iowa Hawkeyes. Welcome everybody. Brandon Gunn, Andy Katz, happy to be with you. Tell you what, there is no love lost in this series, but Iowa State has won 7 of the last 9. Iowa wants to change that.
Let me tell you something, Brandon. I've covered this sport for nearly 30 years. I've never been to this rivalry. Can't wait to get a chance to watch this game. I can cross it off my bucket list. But here's the thing. There is much more pressure on Iowa than Iowa State. Iowa had the great 2K victory in New York, 2 wins, and then they struggled into the Big Ten, losing 2 games. Iowa State missing their best player, Lindell Wigginton, who's out right now. We'll talk about him later. So the pressure is all on the hometown Hawkeyes to get a win in this rivalry, get that momentum back going.
Well, and if Iowa's going to get that momentum back, one big piece will play tonight, and that's freshman Joe Wieskamp. He rolled his ankle against Michigan State. They didn't know if he'd be available to go. Not only is he going to go, he's in the starting lineup.
Yeah, we've been tracking this the last 24 hours. We saw him during shoot-around trying to work that ankle. It is good enough, obviously, for him to play tonight. He's from Iowa. He was not going to miss this game. They were playing UMKC. I don't know if he'd be out there.
Let's take a look at the rest of the starting lineup for Iowa and for Iowa State as well. Jordan Bohannon, he really makes it go for the Hawkeyes, although he's been struggling as of late shooting the basketball. Nick Weiler-Babb, the senior guard for Iowa State, he's the playmaker, but Mariel Shayok leads them in scoring at 19.4 a game. And I mentioned in this series that Iowa State has won 7 of the last 9. All time, though, Iowa holds the edge 44-27. It's a series that has really been dominated by the home teams.
Well, they've obviously got great home courts. I mean, obviously, Hilton Magic is something special in Ames. Let's see what Carver Hawkeye can deliver.
15,000 packed in here like sardines, ready to go. And it will be Iowa and Jordan Bohannon with the first possession. Pass inside, immediately stolen. Horton Tucker, the freshman from Chicago, gets in there. And that's been an issue for Iowa this year. They only have 2 more assists than turnovers on the season, something to watch.
I tell you, during their shoot-around, they worked almost extensively on Iowa's offense, reading those passing lanes, and we see it right there in the first possession.
Here's Weiler-Babb. The Nebraska transfer. He's used to the shooting sites in this building, and Michael Jacobson knocks him down.
Steve Prohm does a great job. In fact, this whole Iowa State program has had great success with transfers, and as you said, Nebraska, he's gone against Iowa, familiar with this building.
Left hand in the lane. That's a good sign early. Tyler Cook with a bucket.
He needs to be the anchor inside. You can see how pumped he is about this matchup.
Cook had a couple of tough assignments the last 2 games. There's a 3 in the corner. Mariel Shayok.
Another transfer from Virginia, and he sat out. You love that. We'll talk more about that later.
Over 19 points a game for Shayok after averaging 9 for Tony Bennett at Virginia 2 seasons ago. Bohannon in and out.
It was a good look, though. You can see how quick he has that release.
Bohannon, 30% from long range after being over 40% the last 2 seasons. That's something that Iowa needs him to fix going forward. Off the bounce, Moss, nice kick out. Here is Wieskamp. We'll watch that ankle. Up top, Bohannon, there he goes.
That's his sweet spot. He was a little slow at the beginning of the season with a hip injury. He is now finding his rhythm.
Double team comes on the big man, Jacobson. This is one of the talented freshmen. Step back, no good for Ty Halliburton. And then the foul inside will keep it on this end. There's Steve Prohm, 4th season. He's 2-1. Trying to make it 3-1 tonight against the Hawkeyes.
And remember, he replaced Fred Hoiberg, who, by the way, is now a free agent after let go by the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, earlier this week, a change there. Jacobson off the heel.
Everyone's got the green light on both these schools.
We're going to see some shooters on both sides, no doubt. Although Iowa, like Bohannon, although he's hit a 3, has been struggling a little bit this year from outside the arc at just above 30%. They're hoping to live closer to 37% as the season progresses. Here is a 3 from Moss. Yes.
The big thing with Moss is getting him to play with continued confidence. And Fran McCaffrey feels like he's picking that up almost daily. They need him and want him to take shots like that.
At his best game against Michigan State, 13 points. Nifty move, but no finish for Horton Tucker. Shayok keeps it alive.
I think he stepped out.
No, they got him for an offensive foul, hooking that arm.
Yep.
His first. And Fran McCaffrey, 9th year here in Iowa. Last season, by all accounts, not what they wanted at 14, 19, but hoping for better results this year.
Well, it all comes down to defense. They have basically the whole team back. And Fran told me in the summer, he worked extensively on defense. If we're going to elevate this program, this team, we've got to defend.
Here on the offensive end, it's knocked out. And I think for Iowa, that's why that Michigan State loss was so despairing. It's understanding to lose there, but they gave up 90 points.
Yeah, that was, they're hoping, the outlier, because they didn't do that in New York when they knocked off Oregon and UConn.
Right underneath to Garza. And the big fella flips it up and in with the right hand.
There was a question at the beginning of the season, would Garza be ready with that abdominal injury, but he was ready to go right at the beginning.
An 8-0 run right now for the Hawkeyes. Jacobson one-on-one with Garza. That's pretty.
No Lindell Wigginton. He's clearly their best player. No Solomon Young. So Steve Prohm having to basically have a team A, team B, team C when he gets everyone back.
Both teams right now pretty efficient on offense.
In a rivalry game like this, you're not going to hold back. This is where memories are made. People remember this game.
Step back, Shayok, and that's a 2-pointer. Ariel Shayok makes it a 12-10 game, and then that's kicked off the foot of Tyler Cook.
Luka Garza off the inbounds, positioning, spinning, and finishing. Here's Moss. Wide open. Drains the net. We got a rivalry here in Iowa.
By a pair, 12-10. You mentioned the last 2 games for Iowa. They get off to the 6-0 start. Then they get in conference play. Lose a close one here to Wisconsin. Lose at Michigan State. That's why, as you say, this game is so key.
Well, because, look, they beat Oregon and UConn in New York City. And as it is today, and I do a bracket on NCAA.com, I didn't have Oregon and UConn in the tournament. So it's December, I know, but Iowa doesn't have a win against the field. This would be a huge win, because I think Iowa State's going to be in the field. The Wisconsin home loss, that'll end up being okay, because the Badgers are one of the 3 best teams in the Big Ten.
And then the dispiriting loss, 90-68. They got down by as many as 30.
Yeah, it was the way that happened.
Yeah, at Michigan State. And that's where the defensive woes started to rear their ugly heads again, because the defense has been improved. Great pass inside. Jacobson on the feed from Halliburton. So just as I say, the defense has been improved. They give up the easy dudes. Trying to get it down there to Cook. He's got the size advantage. But that's a wide pass. Was it deflected? Well, we'll get the call in just a second. Here's the defensive improvement, though.
And this is what they were working on. I mean, McCaffrey told me that during the summer, there were many times where that's what they were working on. I mean, no balls. I mean, you're going to work on defense because it had been such a problem for them last season.
They did say that that was not deflected off of Iowa, so Iowa State gets it back. Well, and Fran McCaffrey, as you said, spent a lot of that offseason doing anything he could to improve the defense. All the pieces are back from last year for Iowa. 3 from the wing. That's one of the new pieces, Ty Halliburton from downtown.
He's a scorer that can do it in a lot of different ways, and Steve Prohm has given him the green light, especially without Wigginton. Although he did say he probably would have done that even if he was on the floor.
A turnover for a turnover. His last 2 Iowa State buckets a little too easy.
I mean, Prohm said they're going to play 4 guards a lot this season. Even maybe when Solomon Young comes back, you're going to see a lot of 4-guard lineups.
That is good, and it stops a 7-0 Iowa State run. Isaiah Moss with the basket. Off the bounce and off the window for Horton Tucker. Horton Tucker and Halliburton. They just don't look like freshmen out there.
No, they've been very impressed with his shot selection. And that was a great example. He had it, and he took it.
He's so comfortable off the bounce. Speaking of off the bounce, no, but yes, with a right-handed stuff back from Cook.
Gets the crowd going. He can be the energy guy, the guy that can really motivate this group.
He tested the NBA waters. They love his athleticism at the next level, and here is that athleticism.
Clearly, he is following the shot, knowing he gets in front of him, and why would you?
Yeah, he can do that. There's no question. They want him to improve his outside shooting, or they feel like his game will translate to the next level.
Yeah, when a lot of these guys come back, there's a reason they don't stay in the draft. Who aren't going to get selected in the first round.
Back door, Weiler-Babb had to track it down. Crossover. Wow. Talon Horton Tucker.
He came in knowing how to play. That's why Prohm has so much confidence in him.
Got 4 early. He's been distributing the ball as well. Pass inside. That's the 3rd time that an entry pass has been stolen by the Cyclones.
And we saw that in shoot-around. They were really working on the entry passes from the wings.
And this time, Horton Tucker bit off a little more than he could chew. Cook slung it wild over his head, and another Iowa turnover.
Yeah, Fran McCaffrey's not going to like that. Getting way too careless with the basketball. There's Jacobson reading the passing lane. Comes around the backside, gets his hand on it. A turnover for Iowa.
So 6 Hawkeye turnovers, just 2 for Iowa State. And that means now that on the season, Iowa as a team has more turnovers than they do assists. Weiler-Babb, guarded by Kriener, who checked in. Now Shayok, the go-to guy, and it's deflected, but a foul. They're going to get Nicholas Bayer. He thought he got all ball, but not the case.
Shayok gets up. Bayer gets him right there.
Good
on
call.
The follow-through, yeah. Now, Bayer's going to play a lot more with Wieskamp not 100%.
Shayok has now made 16 straight free throws, and Bayer's a guy, obviously, that they trust. As Fran McCaffrey put it, he's one of the best guys coming off the bench in the entire nation.
But there's a trickle effect. If you lose him, you know, if his minutes increase because Wieskamp play, then you lose that person off the bench. Or if he ended up starting, which was going to be the case earlier today, then you wouldn't have him or someone like him coming off the bench.
Right, and as Fran told us, Bayer usually only gets him 18 minutes because he goes at such a high level. It's so intense, he can't be out there that long. Gets the offensive rebound here, and then the miss by the coach's son. And then look who put it back, Cordell Pimsel, who they thought was going to be out for the remainder of the year with a knee injury, but he tested it today, said he was ready to play. He hasn't played since the opener.
Yeah, this dates back from a knee injury from high school. Now, he did play last season, but has not been able to be 100%. There was talk of surgery. That didn't happen. And we saw him, like we saw Wieskamp in shoot-around, really trying to push himself. And this is nothing being forced upon him. This is his decision to try to play. And, you know, potentially not redshirt. The question, of course, will be how many minutes can he go?
But everybody across the program thought that he was done for the year, shut down for the year. As you said, though, his call, and he really can't injure it any worse. It's just, does he have the stamina to withstand and hold the pain tolerance of the knee?
Well, that's the thing, and we talked both to Fran McCaffrey and Steve Prohm with their injured players. I don't care if it's a rivalry game. These were player decisions, but both coaches were not going to put any of their players in a position to hurt themselves, hurt their futures. And of course, they weren't going to be on the floor unless they were cleared by the athletic trainer. So let's be clear about that.
Wieskamp is trying to stay on the exercise bike just to keep that ankle warm that he injured against Michigan State. But those are two big bodies for Fran McCaffrey to have out there. Deep three, left wing, and that is short. How about the putback, though, from Talen Horton-Tucker? He has 6.
Nose for the ball. Knew where to be on that shot.
Iowa State has made 7 of their last 9. Kriener. Three-pointer good, Isaiah Moss.
McCaffrey loves that patience right there. And these 4 Hawkeyes touch the basketball, making sure they got a good shot.
You said that Moss has been playing better. He already has 8 tonight. He averages 7. Jacobson, good dump off. And the reverse drops for Terrence Lewis. Another thing Jacobson adds, he is a good interior passer for Steve Prohm. And that kick takes us to the media timeout with 11:02 to go in the first half. Iowa State getting some help from Horton-Tucker and a good pass inside, and Lewis with a reverse. Inside the huddle with Steve Prohm.
Hey guys, listen up. You got to make them more uncomfortable. We've given up 21 points. Tyrese, he can't size you up and shoot an uncontested 3 right there. Guys, you got to press up and defend. We've given up 21 points in 9 minutes, man. That's ridiculous, all right?
And here's the 3 that he's talking about. Moss extending over the defense. That is one of his 2 threes he's already hit.
And how about another 3 from that same man, Isaiah Moss, right off the inbound pass.
3 for 3.
3 for 3. So Moss 11 points after 13 against Michigan State. And again, he comes in averaging 7. No answer on the other end. Rebound to Kriener. Well, if you like offense, we got a good game for you.
Up and down, that's what we want to see. Nicholas Bear burying that one. Oh, excuse me, that was Keith Kriener.
No, it was Bayer.
Oh, Bayer, I'm sorry.
The lone senior for Fran McCaffrey. And this is a big game for him because it's the last time he gets to face the Cyclones. Shayok. Rebound comes down to Pimsel. Oh, Bayer wanted another one, but the defense recovered. Inside, here's Kriener. And he had a disruptive good defense by Cameron Lard. And Shayok fumbled it out of bounds. Let's go back to that 3 a moment ago.
Wide open in the corner. Quick shot by Moss. And Prohm's like, were you guys listening? Come on.
You just told them don't allow open looks. Too many points early. Now Iowa with a chance to add to this 27-24 lead.
He checked for Moss.
And Moss threw it to Kriener, and Kriener had vacated the spot. So make that now 8 Iowa turnovers to just 3 for Iowa State. But Iowa State does have number 2 Cameron Lard out there. He returned last game from a violation of team rules, and he's a big piece to the puzzle this year.
Yeah, 7-game suspension. See how he adapts.
Shayok another miss, and a mishap. Isaiah Moss just fumbled it.
Yeah, Lard and Talley both had that 7-game suspension, and that's when Iowa State was forced to go small out in Maui. And so what Steve Prohm told us is there are going to be times when they stay small, and there's sort of Team A without those 2, Team B now that they're back, Team C when they get Young and Wigginton back.
And that is interesting. He's trying to filter the guys back in, but you're right, he doesn't want to disrupt what's been a great 7-1 start. The only loss out in Maui to Arizona by 5 points. All their wins have been by double digits.
And look, the selection committee will look at that when you had your full complement of players and when you did not.
Bad shot by Horton Tucker. Here's Pimsel through the hands of Tyler Cook. There is Lindell Wigington on the left and Solomon Young on the right.
I talked to both just moments before tip-off, and they're hopeful. You have the groin injury with Young and Wigington with the foot injury. They're hopeful for the Drake game on December 15th.
And what a boost that will be. And then, as you say, they will have Team C, that full complement of players, back for the Cyclones.
Just in time for the Big 12. That's when you need them.
Here's Lard. And into the hands of Moss on the rebound. Moss, his fourth three for number 4.
The coach's son, Connor McCaffrey, just feeding him.
Beautiful turnaround assist, and Iowa has opened up a 6-0 lead. They're on a 9-0 run. Timeout, Cyclone.
There are a chosen few in position.
He is the hot hand. Look, he had 13 points against Michigan State in a loss. 15 is his season high against Alabama State, but they need him to play big in big moments. When he's wide open, take that shot. Graham McCaffrey said, we want to encourage him to take shots like that. Continue to build his confidence. And then you see the coach's son, Connor McCaffrey, head up as he's the point guard, dribbling down, and then turns his back, and a little feed.
So he's 4 of 4 from long range. Iowa's a team 6 of 7. Iowa State 3 of 10 from outside the arc. The Cyclones trying to stop a 9-0 run. Shayok with a kick out. Horton Tucker in and out. And it comes down to Macy Daly.
McCaffrey has to love that defensive possession.
Well, Iowa State has missed their last 6 shots now from the floor. Here is the coach's son that you mentioned, Connor McCaffrey. Had to sit out a lot of last year with numerous ailments. Cook with a left hand.
Just got that angle around the side. You can tell how much he is playing with confidence tonight.
He has 8 early, and it's an 11-0 run.
The timing of this game, Brandon, was key for Iowa. After those losses, a home rivalry game to get their mojo back.
And something their fan base is clamoring for is in that 2-game losing streak. Is the folks after that Michigan State game around here saying, oh, no, here we go again. This looks a lot like last year. Well, so far tonight, it doesn't look like last year. And once again, deep post position, Tyler Cook.
Keep feeding them. That's the sweet spot in terms of an opening against Iowa State. Cook can own that position tonight.
Active hands on defense, a 13-0 run right now. Can they stop the bleeding? A foul as Tyrese Halliburton was going up to try to throw it down.
Well, he had the right attitude of trying to make a statement there to get that momentum back for Iowa State. And the opening was there for him.
Talked extensively about he and Horton Tucker, part of the freshman class. 4 of them have really had a great impact.
Well, and they've had to with the suspensions and the injuries. I mean, this was not the exact plan for Steve Prohm. Prohm knew that these guys were going to play and have an impact, but maybe not this much. But he's had to with 2 guys suspended and 2 guys hurt.
The other 2 that we haven't seen tonight, Zion Griffin and George Condit. You see Wigington and Young again injured still at the end of the bench. lot of the Iowa State recruiting success has come in Chicago. 3 of those 4 freshmen are from the Windy City. And oh my goodness, Isaiah Moss is having a coming out party in the Cy-Hawk series.
He is having himself a night. This is a memory maker against Iowa State.
Offensive foul.
And it's Pemsel. Oh, we got McCaffrey and Jacobson. Pemsel and Jacobson.
Some words were exchanged, then the shove. And Steve Prohm and Fran McCaffrey out there to get their players to their respective sides.
Pemsel was hot.
Think this one means a little bit more? Have to see if we can tell what precipitated all of that. Go back to the offensive foul.
So Pemsel draws it. And then Jacobson standing over. And McCaffrey and Jacobson have words. Then Moss and Jacobson. Then comes Pemsel. That could be costly that he comes in late. And Mike Eads, the official, is a great official, was right there to try to get control of the situation.
And the officials are going to go look at it. Steve Prohm raced out saying, guys, get back to the bench.
But look at Mike Eads. He is a veteran official, does a lot of ACC, a lot of Big Ten. Keith Kimball is well in there.
Andy, you made a great point, though. Pemsel wasn't really a part of that action, and then he charged at the last second. That could really hurt him.
I would not be surprised if there's going to be, some sort of flagrant for him, because he's the 3rd member into this scuffle. And really, there hadn't been physical contact before Pemsel. So Pemsel's the first one that really makes the physical contact. And then you see Mike Eads getting right in the face of Pemsel, and he should, because there was no reason for Pemsel to jump right in there.
There's Terry Weimer with Mike Eads, the other official, Keith Kimball, a very veteran crew.
Yeah, they've been in these kind of situations before, and they knew. I flew with these 2 guys this morning from Chicago. They knew they were heading for a rivalry game.
So there's the little bump from Cook, and then McCaffrey gets involved.
I mean, that's acceptable. They were just sort of tapping each other, McCaffrey and Jacobson. It's Pemsel who comes in after. Look at the late reaction. Here comes Pemsel.
And again, Pemsel played in the opener. The knee injury that has lingered since high school. They shut him down, and before tonight, worked it out, said, I want to go. And he was ready to go all right.
That's right.
The officials still meeting and trying to figure out what they're going to do with this mess. But 36-26, Iowa in the midst of a 15-2 run. And Keith Kimball's coming over to explain the situation. I believe we're going to have a dead ball technical assessed against Cordell Pemsel.
Dead ball contact has been called on Iowa's number 30, Connor McCaffrey, and number 35, Cordell Pemsel.
Keith Kimball is still over here explaining to Andy the situation. And now the headset is back on. Okay, that was a long conversation.
Yes. All right, here's what Keith Kimball told me. Okay, you had an offensive foul. Okay, then after the offensive foul, we had 3 dead ball technicals. Okay, so it's going to be Iowa State shooting, and then Iowa State's going to get the ball at midcourt. The 3 dead ball technicals are against the 3 players that we talked about. Connor McCaffrey, Michael Jacobson, and Cordell Pemsel. No flagrant fouls here. 3 dead ball technicals, Iowa State shooting, and Iowa State gets the ball at midcourt.
Well, this is the first game I've done this year with 3 dead ball technicals. Now Connor McCaffrey trying to explain himself as Shayok calmly goes to the line and knocks down the first.
I want to just tell you, credit to both the Big 12 and the Big 10 to make sure they had a veteran crew on a heated rivalry game.
Yeah, all three of these guys have been around a long time. So now, of course, Iowa State will get the ball back here, down 9. But, partner, we still have almost 26 minutes to go in this game.
See, I'm walking off the jetway with Mike and Keith, and I said, "You ready for tonight?" They said, "Oh, yeah." A little rest in the hotel. They had to be ready.
72nd meeting between these two teams. Iowa State has won 7 of the last 9, including 84-78 a year ago in Ames.
Here's Talley on the floor. He also was suspended for those 7 games.
Shayok has it ripped out by Pimson. He thought he got fouled. 14 to shoot.
What you're going to see from Talley is you hear him listening to Steve Prohm, or see him if you can get on your screen here. He's very versatile. They're going to use him in multiple positions, a driver, a slasher.
He's the one wearing the mask, Talley, because he broke his nose in practice.
He wouldn't wear that normally.
Well, they say he actually might not need to wear it anymore. It's the Rip Hamilton effect.
I know. It's quite a mask, though, too.
It is quite a mask.
It's not your standard mask.
No, that's like the Batman.
I know, he is the Batman.
5 to shoot. 2 to shoot. He didn't get it off.
Nope.
And that Iowa defense, much maligned, starting to stiffen.
Yeah, Iowa fans, if you were watching Iowa against Michigan State, this is not the same defensive team.
Early, the Cyclones were getting baskets at will, but that has stopped in the last 4 minutes. 15-2 run. Foul inside. That's Cook and Jacobson getting tangled, and they're going to get it on Michael Jacobson. His second.
But the officials are going to have rabbit ears for the rest of this half for sure. Where they're calling on Jacobson, leaning on him right there.
So he sits with 5:03 to go.
But this is where the return of Cameron Lard helps dramatically back from the suspension, because they were really thin in their numbers before that.
Moss, not that time. Shayok high to grab it. Jacobson on the bench. He is the leading scorer with 7 right now. In and out for Zoran Talley.
But he's got the green light to do that. There's that slashing ability that we talked about.
McCaffrey needs some help. Up top to Daly. Macy Daly. To the cutter, Moss, and it's blocked. Condit went up and swatted it, and Iowa State will have the possession of foul in transition.
That was a tough pass. I don't know how that got through. Not able to convert, but still a very good look.
Second foul was picked up there on Macy Daly. As Nicholas Bayer checks back in for Fran McCaffrey.
I'll say this about Pemsel. I still think he should not have been the 3rd member in there, and he's lucky it was just a dead ball technical. But there's no question that his energy and activity is a huge plus for Iowa.
And you better believe his teammates love that he came in there to stick up for the other guys. His coach may not.
Right.
His teammates love him.
But look at him. He's playing with purpose.
Cook driving, lost it for a second. Condit was trying to call a timeout.
And there's Pemsel. Pemsel's on the floor.
And right away, Keith Kimball, the official, gets in there to separate him. Boy, we have a rivalry game in Iowa City. Some pushing, some shoving. And right now, it's the Hawkeyes at home, up 9 with 3:55 to go in the first half. 12th-ranked Iowa women got a tie-breaking three-pointer right here from Tania Davis with just 2 seconds left, and that would give them the 73-70 victory in their Cy-Hawk battle against Iowa State. Iowa's now won 3 straight on the women's side in that series, and here is a little bit about the Cy-Hawk series.
This is Iowa State week, but I got a major problem with this graphic. Not the way we constructed it. The fact that football is worth 3 points. Every sport should be equal. Male, female, revenue, non-revenue. Come on.
Well,
why is football worth 3?
I'll get you on the Cy-Hawk board.
That's ridiculous.
Know some people. And by the way, Tania Davis, there she is. Hit the game-winning shot last night and cheering on the men tonight.
Well, we don't think the women work as hard as the men at football? Come on.
Hey, I'm with you. Don't
Everything
shoot the
should
messenger.
be 1 point.
I'm with you. Pass inside. And that's the first bucket for Iowa State since the 11:08 mark of the half.
So good coming out of a timeout to stop a little momentum.
And then a foul as Cook went racing to the basket. Condit's going to get called for the personal.
But what's good right there is that it was hard, it was physical, and that was it. No jawing, no pushing after that.
Cook, 6'9", 250. He is just tough to stop once he gets going to the basket. Another peek at the foul.
And Condit's another one of these players that benefited from the injury suspensions, and Prohm really thinks he's going to be a major factor when Iowa State gets into the Big 12.
He's one of those 3 freshmen from Chicago. Cook hits 1 of 2.
Iowa State historically has had recruiting success in Chicago.
Yeah, Iowa gets most of the Iowa players, and then Iowa State, you're right, they've had success outside of Iowa.
And Fran told us they rarely recruit against each other. I mean, historically, they've built their programs differently. Iowa State, many more transfers.
Garza, air ball. That is not outside of his range, though. He's hit 7 of them this year.
But probably too quick in the possession.
And Shayok, a quick shot on the other end, and Cook had his foot on the line. That was an interesting discussion, though, about how there isn't a whole lot of recruiting overlap between these two programs.
Well, just think, I mean, Iowa State's had junior college transfers, 4-year transfers, grad transfers. I don't care who the head coach, going back to Johnny Orr, Tim Floyd, Larry Eustachian, now Steve Prohm, Fred Hoiberg. That's been the way that Iowa State has been built, and that's fine. Not every program should be built the same way. Everyone has a different mission. Iowa has gone a little bit more traditional, for lack of a better term, you know, from the high schools on up.
Foul there on Nicholas Bayer. Well, for Steve Prohm, he only has one Iowa kid on the roster. It's Michael Jacobson, the transfer from Nebraska. There is Jacobson looking on. He picked up his 2nd foul, and he's been over there since the 5-minute mark.
It feels like Iowa State has withstood that first surge by Iowa, especially after the emotional scuffle. If that's what we're going to term it.
Yeah, well, they got down double digits. You're right. This is a good response. We'll see what the last 240 has in store. Pass disrupted by Condit. It'll stay with Iowa, 10 to shoot.
We were on warp speed the first 6 minutes, it felt like. Now things have slowed a little bit more.
Yeah, you saw the energy, both sides throwing punches back and forth.
I won't say punches.
Figuratively. But the shots were quick, and they were dropping.
Yeah.
Through the hands of Moss. Shayok gives it up, and the finish by Zoran Talley. And all of a sudden, it's just a 4-point game.
Transition defense now an issue for Iowa. Wieskamp about to check back in.
Garza. Boy, he's had it tough inside.
Sort of a bad angle.
We haven't really seen much of Bohannon, and he misses the three. Here's Cook. Oh! But they stick with it and keep the possession. Cook rarely misses a dunk. Now he's frustrated, and he finishes with a left hand.
Well, he keeps going to that left side. They may want to try to redirect him.
Yeah, that's been a big improvement in his game. He can finish with either, and he's shown it tonight. Weiler-Babb with the answer.
Now we got our pace back.
A set play for Moss. Another one. He has 19.
All right, he's hot again. Heat check.
And that was a 2, they say, with a foot on the line, so he has 18. Crowd wanted to travel, and then that falls down somehow for Marion Shayok.
It looked like it was going to hit the top of the backboard, but it didn't.
We got to see this again.
I know. Let's see if it goes. Ooh, it does get to the top. It drops right in.
And the Iowa bench pleading that it hit the basket support. But the basket counts, and we got a 3-point game. Coming up at half, we're going to look ahead to Kentucky and Seton Hall and Wisconsin and Marquette. Of course, a first half recap as well with Shane Bacon and Jim Jackson in studio. Trying to get Bohannon on track. He has 5 points, but tell you what, the start to this junior season for Bohannon has not been as good as his sophomore campaign. Timeout on the floor with 41 seconds left in the first half.
Omar, check this out.
Hi, yeah, I was calling to see if you do laser hair removal for men.
Notice that my hips are off the ground? And then I'm gonna pike my hips back into downward dog.
Hey, the rain stopped.
A bad day on the road still beats a good one off it.
Tell me about that dental procedure again. I can still taste it in my mouth.
Progressive helps keep you out there.
Saturday before Max Holloway finally gets into the octagon with undefeated Brian Ortega. Don't forget to watch the UFC 231 prelims on FS1 at 6:30 Eastern. You can also watch anywhere on the Fox Sports app. Well, we've had our own version of UFC here this evening in the Cyhawk series.
You didn't get that ball. Come on.
No. Iowa State trying to make this a one-possession game again.
By the way, there's also a good, healthy respect with McCaffrey and Crone.
Oh, absolutely.
No hatred there.
Absolutely. Kick to the corner. In and out that time for Talley. And the final possession. Bohannon. No.
Cook got that off. It's about 1 or 2 tenths left on the clock. That's how you win the half.
You want to talk about taking some momentum into the locker room. The junior from St. Louis clear for takeoff on the weak side. And it was Cook and Moss in the first half leading the way for the 18th ranked Iowa Hawkeyes. A season high 18 for Moss, 13 for Cook. And that's the reason that the Hawkeyes are in front of the Cyclones in the 72nd all-time meeting between these two basketball programs. Fran McCaffrey, no love lost. We're just getting started. Still 20 minutes to play, but we go to studio after this. team has won 13 of the last 15 in this series, and it's the home team that leads it at intermission 45-38 at Carver Hawkeye Arena. The senior leader for Iowa State, Nick Weiler-Babb, he does a little bit of everything. You see what he did last year in this game, but pretty quiet in that first half.
Well, and he's got to get going here in the second half. They're going to need his leadership. I cannot stress enough, without Lindell Wigginton, they need him to step up. I said at the beginning of this broadcast, the pressure is all on the hometown Hawkeyes after that 0-2 Big Ten start. I'm not sure they have a win against the field as we enter December. The rest of their schedule in the non-conference is not going to provide it. They've got to get this one.
And it is an important one for this man as well, Steve Prohm. You see that he's taken his tie off during the halftime break. Shayok leads the Cyclones with 9. Jacobson had 7, but then he had to sit for the final 5+ minutes with foul trouble. Weiler-Babb, though, he's the only player for Prohm that was there Prohm's first year. He's redshirted that season after transferring from Arkansas. See if they can get him going in the second half. Late shot clock, Bohannon from way downtown, and he airballs it out of bounds.
Great first defensive possession for the Cyclones.
Well, that maybe not the best example, but I was starting to say at the end of the first half, Jordan Bohannon not having the year that he did a season ago. See if they can pick him up. It's a foul driving to the basket against Bohannon. Now, Bohannon also has given up some minutes to Connor McCaffrey, who's been a much-needed boost for this Hawkeye team.
And we saw in the first half the way McCaffrey was sort of a heady point guard, feeding Moss. And I think you're going to see a lot more sharing at that position going forward.
Weiler-Babb gets the first. See Wieskamp, Joe Wieskamp, the freshman, rolled the ankle against Michigan State, but he was in the starting lineup tonight. Now, he hasn't done a whole lot. He hasn't even attempted a shot in the game.
Well, we didn't even know if he'd play, let alone start. But he was determined to get out here. Spent extra time working on trying to cut and making sure his ankle was good to go. If you watch that Michigan State game, it didn't look like he was going to be able to play tonight.
No, not at all. Here he is hoisting a 3 and missing, but that's a push in the back. That's going to be the 3rd foul on that man, Michael Jacobson.
They're going against Garza.
See if Steve Prohm elects to leave him out there. It appears he is, at least for the time being.
Might see a little bit more Cameron Lard here in the second half.
Lard on the bench right now for the Cyclones. Garza hit the other side of the goal, and now it's a 5-on-4 break.
Yeah, he was trying to pick up another foul on Jacobson.
There's Jacobson on the offensive end. Bucket and a foul.
Great recovery from Jacobson after picking up the foul, giving up a shot on the other end. Didn't go down. And here's Jacobson getting his position. Good body control. Almost got kind of pushed, as they say, a little bit in jail when you're right underneath the basket.
And a really nice entry pass from Taylor Horton-Tucker. He's the first Cyclone in double figures.
2-point game.
At one point, it was 36-26 Iowa. They went on a 15-2 run. Moss stepped back, give him 20.
Just playing with so much confidence. And McCaffrey wants to continue building on that with him. He needs that going forward, especially into the Big Ten.
Last year, he did average 11. He did have a performance of 32 a year ago. We mentioned his previous season high this year was 15. That obviously before tonight. This is the guy we talked about coming out of the break, Nick Weiler-Babb, redshirt senior from Arlington, Texas. And he misses both. An 80% foul shooter, but not there. He is hunting his shot, Moss. Gives it up to Garza.
He's got the long reach of Shayok on him. And feel like tonight Garza's had bad angles every time.
And he's coming off that 1 of 10 performance against Michigan State.
Yeah, McCaffrey said he doesn't know if he's ever gone 1 of 10.
And now he's just 1 of 5 tonight, the big man for Iowa.
Be interesting here if they now continue to look at Cook instead of Garza.
Here is Cook. Wieskamp testing that ankle. No, but look who comes flying in, Tyler Cook.
Cook has had a great nose for the basketball tonight.
And Shayok, who's been cold as of late, takes it right to the basket.
Look, when he sat out last season, he says it was critical for him to learn a little bit more about himself, improve his game, be even more confident. When you're in Virginia, you cannot make a lot of unforced errors. And he said he takes that from Virginia to Iowa State.
Going back to that Cook follow.
A little bit of a mismatch there, and Cook takes advantage of it.
Drawing the foul, and right underneath to Wieskamp.
That's great for Wieskamp. He missed the first possession, or that last possession. Goes right back to him. They got the confidence to see if he can convert, and he does.
That's his first bucket tonight, and the Jacobson lost it.
Some frustration there from Jacobson.
Bohannon shot that right over the taller Jacobson.
And there's Wieskamp.
And there's Cook.
That was set up by Wieskamp. And the high percentage from Cook. The tie is off of Steve Cohen. The jacket never made it anything courtside.
And a foul on Garza.
No, it's going to be on Moss.
Let's go back to that. Speaking of Tyler Cook, let's get another peek at this.
What a pass from Wieskamp. And if you're Iowa, you know that Cook is going to be somewhere near the basket.
And good correction, that's 3 on Isaiah Moss, so he goes to the bench with those 20 points. Horton Tucker.
Oh, what a threat.
A veteran slip through. He has 8. He got off to the hot start. 6 points in the first 5 minutes. And on the other end, Nicholas Bayer.
Supposed to give that kind of production off the bench. That's what he's doing. Too quick a shot for Iowa State.
Cook gets the bounce. Timeout, Steve Prohm. And they are on their feet in Iowa City. A night to cross one off your bucket list, so to speak. Here are your non-conference in-state favorite rivalries.
All right, so on this list, I've been to all of these now except for Creighton, Nebraska. Got to get to that one. I'm going to tell you, for years, 5 years, I covered New Mexico State. That gets nasty. There was just a fight the other night between the two of them. Look, the Providence, Rhode Island, the Ocean State, my favorite state. That is a great rivalry. That just occurred over the weekend. Of course, Cincinnati Xavier. We know that one gets very intense. That one's this weekend. Kentucky, Louisville's next week. Marquette, Wisconsin on Fox this weekend. That one's going to be just a monster game, I think, at the Pfizer Arena this weekend.
Well, you did make a good point. For as much heat as there is in this rivalry, and we've seen it in this game between Iowa and Iowa State, a lot of respect between these two programs. And between these two head coaches, Fran McCaffrey and Steve Prohm. Weiler-Babb trying to get going. Not that time. So now the Hawkeyes will try to add to their largest lead. Garza, that's easy.
Yeah, he's not going to miss that. And I'll tell you, to put a bow on this, it's a good thing this series will continue in perpetuity. With the 20-game Big Ten schedule, Iowa no longer going to play Drake and Northern Iowa on a regular basis. But, of course, they're keeping the Iowa-Iowa State rivalry.
Yeah, this is one that this entire state wants and needs. The Cyclones got off to a hot start in this game, but boy, have they been cold over the last 20 minutes. Bayer didn't even watch that go in. He just ran back on defense. That is a senior playing in his last Cy-Hawk game.
It's a shame that Wendell Worthington and Solomon Young are not in this basketball game.
In and out for Jacobson. Tracked down by Weiler-Babb.
I'd love to see both these teams at full strength.
Well, they've both been battling injuries all season, but certainly tonight Iowa a little healthier. Shayok, blocking foul. Let's go back to that Bayer three.
Nicholas Baer, he is the scorer off the bench. Buries the three in the Cy-Hawk Classic. The bench loving it. Look at Pemsel.
Lead. Cyclones trying to stay close. They're going to need Mariel Shayok to step up, their leading scorer. And boy, he's part of a pretty special family. His father, Maker Shayok, from the Sudan, got an opportunity to play basketball in the United States at Dayton back in the early 90s, and he's produced some pretty talented children.
Yeah, connection to the Bol family in the Sudan, and really down the line, whether it's a sister, brother, basketball, as you see on your screen, has been within this family. And just talking to him this afternoon, such a high-class, high character. You know, he went to Virginia, ended up transferring to Iowa State, and spoke so fondly of playing for Tony Bennett and the Virginia program, because I don't know how you couldn't. Even though some players have left Virginia, you leave there a better basketball player, certainly fundamentally, and he took that with him, and he's added such even more character to this Iowa State program.
Saw the action shot of his father at Dayton, and now picking up a little bit in the backcourt here. Well, he averaged 9 points a game at Virginia, but as you were saying at shoot-around, that's like averaging 18 or 19 in another program with that pace that they play at Virginia.
Yes.
He's second in the conference in scoring behind LeGerald Vick of Kansas.
Now, Pemsel's on the floor right now.
He's got it here. Ooh, missed it off the side of the backboard. Cook, wow. He just wanted to pad his stats.
Yeah, who else?
Offensive foul. Shayok can't believe the call. Neither can Steve Prohm. Bayer, who just took the charge. Remember the three a moment ago? Watch him. Watch his confidence.
Exit stage left.
He didn't even watch it go in.
Release. Run down the floor.
And off he goes. Shayok and Steve Prohm, they were not happy about that last call. And Iowa all of a sudden up 16 with a basketball. Wieskamp, air ball, but Bayer with a weak side rebound. Shot clock did not reset. Wow. Woo!
How about the bench play from Bayer offensively, and then Pemsel. Look at the energy, the activity.
Jacobson may have gotten away with a walk. There was definitely a foul.
Yeah, they fell for the fake on that one.
And that quells the crowd, at least momentarily. But Nicholas Bayer is 4 of 4 from outside the arc.
I mean, this is the Iowa team that I think we all thought in the preseason we would see in the Big Ten. If they can just bottle this energy, and especially the way they're playing defensively.
This is the reaction that they were obviously hoping for coming off that beating that they took in East Lansing.
I mean, this was a real test for them. How were they going to respond after the way they played, especially in that second half against Michigan State? But Fran McCaffrey, when I talked to him the day after, I didn't sense any panic. He's been around a long time. He had confidence in this group.
9th year here, 59 years old. Fran McCaffrey's seen a lot his years at Lehigh, UNCG, Siena, and now Iowa. And to coach his son this year, and another son on the way next season with Patrick already signed to play for the Hawkeyes. Here's Connor. Pencil. Yes.
What an addition Pencil can be for the Hawkeyes. Something they did not expect.
Speaking of not expecting things, I'll be honest, I did not see Iowa going up 20 in this game.
No, I thought we were looking at a late possession ball game.
Still almost 12 minutes to play. Everything but the finish for Horton Tucker.
And this is where the lack of depth right now for Iowa State due to the injuries to Wigginton and Young can be a major factor.
Bayer's first miss of the game. There's the finish for Nick Weiler-Babb, and you're right, with Wigginton on the bench, Weiler-Babb needs to step up. He does so there. But Cyclones still in a big hole, down 18.
Silent classic. Look at Pencil. First time playing since the first game of the season. Physical, making sure that he is an active participant on the floor. And Nicholas Bayer, 1-3, 2-3. Look at the contributions off the bench. And you can saw Pencil running up the court. He has added so much. Cordell Pencil was not supposed to play, not just today, but maybe the rest of this season. There was talk of surgery. That was tabled. There was talk of certainly redshirting. That apparently has been tabled. And his contributions have been monumental tonight. And if he stays on the floor, he will be a major factor, a glue guy, a rotation guy for Iowa going forward.
And right now, Iowa in the midst of a 21-8 run. Does Iowa State have a comeback in them? Remember, we still have over 11 minutes left here. To the top, and that's a good start for the Iowa State defense. But where are they going to get their points? Is it going to be Lard? No, with a kick out.
It really should be Shayok when he's on the floor.
That Iowa defense.
But now that he's not on the floor, the question is, where is he going to come from? And Shayok's had an off night.
And that Iowa defense, since the first 5 minutes of the game where they were very shaky, they've been really good. Here is Pencil. He is so patient. Gets you up in the air with that shot fake, and he's going to go to the line.
What you can tell immediately from him is he knows how to play. And clearly, during his time that he's been sitting out, he's been observing, he's been paying attention. You know, he came back at the right time for this Iowa basketball team.
And he's not a high flyer like Cook. He's athletic, but he has to use a few more of those crafty moves around the basket.
No, but every team needs a guy like Pencil. Screener, activity guy, glue guy, energy guy. I still think he shouldn't have jumped in because he was the third person in. And he was given a correct dead ball technical. Still, love his contribution.
Yeah, that was midway through the first half. If you weren't with us when he and Michael Jacobson got into a little scuffle. 72-53. Weiler-Babb, good pass out to Terrence Lewis. Lewis is a guy who in the last 4 games is averaging 12. Tonight, he has 5.
He really blossomed in that San Diego State game. Rome loves the way he's made strides since Maui.
And now Shayok with a steal.
There's Bayer.
Yeah, Bayer created that turnover. Turnovers 12 for Iowa, 9 for Iowa State as that one comes over by us. Good save by Halliburton. And then how about Lord behind the back? And you're sensing that momentum shift a little bit right now. And now Cook and Lard.
And there's Mike Eads.
Back to that last play. Watch this pass.
Right by us. Here comes behind the back. Love the bounce pass. Fundamental.
I got to say, from the 6'9", 250-pounder, I wasn't ready for that.
Don't you love the bounce pass?
Oh, I love the bounce pass. The pass saved by Halliburton as he came crashing into the table over here. That was impressive, too.
Now, let's see if Moss can get hot again. This has not been Wieskamp's night. That's fine. He's on the floor.
Yeah, he's quiet, just 2 points. Moss slips it over to Pimsel. Well, that's great by Moss to defer for the open look.
He was open. He's clearly been working on that shot, that free throw extended mid-range jumper.
Pimsel has given McCaffrey 8 points, and now the other McCaffrey, Connor, picking up the personal.
Remember earlier today, I don't know if Pimsel's going to play. Wieskamp's not going to play. Pimsel's a maybe.
Think they were sandbagging us a bit?
I don't know. I don't know.
He sure has looked healthy tonight. Weiler-Babb at the line, misses the first. By the way, all of us at Fox Sports, we want to say hello and a big get well soon to Mark Balk. One of our college hoops producers. Mark suffered a heart attack on Monday. He's resting and recovering at home. So, Mark, hope to see you back in action soon. Not too soon, though. And if you're watching, we're doing sports. Remember that. 74-58 as Iowa tries to extend this lead back out. A collision in the lane and a foul against the Cyclones. Third foul on Lard.
Still got 8:38 left. There's plenty of time.
One number where Iowa surprisingly is as dominated as the glass. They're plus 17 in rebounding tonight.
And Iowa State had out-rebounded 5 opponents this season by 10 or more, and they entered the game leading the Big 12, now that's in non-conference games, in rebounding margin with a plus 7.4.
So that had been a strength and an identity for Steve Prohm, but this evening that's all gone by the wayside.
And they will get a big plus when Solomon Young comes back. He told me earlier today he's hoping for that December 15th game against Drake. Out with a groin.
Last year in this game, Iowa had 50 rebounds, and looking similar here this evening. Lewis. Tap back, Lard, no. Shayok, third time's the charm.
Shayok started that possession at the top of the key and found his way underneath.
They're going to call a push. Fouls starting to mount up on both sides. So we will have free throws the rest of the way on every foul.
Brandon, let me tell you something. I am a huge fan of the no tie that Steve Prohm is now doing. I don't understand why college basketball coaches wear a tie. You're screaming, you're stressed, you're scrunched. No tie.
How about the Bob Huggins look?
Well, that works for Huggins. Not everyone can pull off the windbreaker. I mean, look at Fran right here. Crossed arms. You know, he's got the jacket.
But he looks professional. I think it's a nice,
but
clean
you don't
look,
need to.
You know?
I think coaches need to go to the no tie. It just makes more sense. Mark Few does it.
At least it's not like a baseball manager and they're out there in gym shorts and a t-shirt. We wouldn't want that. Whoa, hello. Mario Shayok rearing back.
that opening along the baseline and flushed it.
He now has 17 points, and he's scored 17 or more in 8 straight games for the Cyclones.
He's had to earn that 17.
He has, and here he goes leading the break. Off to Lard, and Lard lays it in.
Lard's going to continue to be an important part of the Cyclone offense now that he's back from that 7-game suspension. Great break right there with Shayok and Lard.
Iowa State not going away. Wieskamp, blocking foul is called. Iowa State trying to get back in it. This'll help.
That was a mismatch.
Ooh, yeah, Mariel Shayok, and then he's feeding Cameron Lard.
Langford, one of the best freshmen in the country at Indiana. Jordan Nwora, I saw them take out Seton Hall last weekend. He didn't have a great game, but he's putting off a great season. And Marcus Howard from Marquette, he had 45 points in a must kind of win for Marquette over Kansas State. They needed that game.
Here's Jacobson, and he gets fouled. So Iowa misses the free throw on one side, and now all of a sudden, if these two go down, we're looking at a 10-point game, and he was still 7:01 to go.
Oh, there is a marathon of time left in this basketball game.
Shooting 2.
An 11-4 run over the last almost 4 minutes for Steve Prohm's crew.
Now, there's a slew of players with 3, but no one yet, if I'm not mistaken here, let me just double check, and no one has 4 yet.
Wieskamp to the bench. And the Nebraska transfer Jacobson misses the second. Here's Bohannon. He has just 5 tonight, 1 of 6 from the floor. McCaffrey into Cook, and Cook has it stripped.
They did a great job collapsing on it.
Halliburton offensive foul. Freshman mistake in transition.
Bohannon drew it. Gets set.
You okay with the call or too late of a slide? Questionable.
It was questionable. What did Brad Davison have? 5 the other day?
5 charges in Wisconsin. For Wisconsin, yes. Moss has been quiet as of late. He does have 20. And Bayer stepped on the inline, yeah. All of his shots have been outside the arc, so he tried to take it to the rim and causes the turnover. State get this down to single digits. Horton Tucker says, yes, I can.
I mean, he's like a linebacker coming in there. Or a fullback, I should say.
And he's just a freshman.
Yeah, he comes in not looking like a freshman. Look at the difference there in size. Bear has no chance.
And he hits the free throw. Does the 6'4", 235-pounder, and it's an 8-point game.
How many carries does he have?
8-0 run right now for the Cyclones. Bohannon, ooh, he had the open look.
It feels like he's a little shy to pop it because he's not been hot.
Just 30% this season, 42% the last 2 years for Bohannon from long range.
During the shoot-around, Steve Prohm stressed about getting out on those shooters, and early in the first half, Moss got free. He was wide open, and sometimes we've seen Bear. But we're now seeing Iowa State close out the way Prohm wanted them to when he discussed it earlier this afternoon.
That's how his team is eking back into this game. And then Cook takes over inside. He has 26.
Yeah, he had the position on that. They tried to get the entry pass, but they couldn't get there in time.
Travel.
Yep. This has been a very well officiated game. We said this is a veteran crew. I see these guys on the road all the time. They've done a really good job.
Usually they're the lead most veteran official in a crew, and tonight they're all together.
And they should be for a game like this. We saw what happened earlier in the first half.
McCaffrey doing it all himself on that possession. That's his first basket. He's only put up 2 shots tonight.
But he has orchestrated a solid floor game.
You're absolutely right. 5 assists. Shayok, boy, he was falling over. And Horton Tucker can't hit the shot.
Yeah, Moss really defended him well on that possession.
And then nobody stops McCaffrey, but the block, there is a foul, however. Weiler Babb rejected it, but there was body contact. Let's see that again. Ooh, I don't know about that. Andy Katz, your thoughts?
Well, I think the reach-in, I think, is where maybe they were getting on Taylor Horton. Did they call it on Taylor Horton?
Oh, they called it on Weiler Babb, at least according to the PA announcer in our stat feed over here as well.
Does he make contact?
You're
yes,
right.
He does.
You're right.
It should have been on Taylor Horton.
You're exactly right. But instead, the foul goes on Weiler Babb, and McCaffrey knocks down the free throws.
Well, Iowa's one of the best free throw shooting teams.
Yeah, they came in with 197 free throws on the year. Now, to put that into perspective, #1 in the country. And you see second in free throws per game at 24.6. Weiler Babb lost it, got it back. Now Shayok had it knocked free.
Hooks head right to the basket.
No, on the finger roll, but look who put it back, Nicholas Baer.
This fan in front of us, I think he was going to set a screen. He's been on the court.
The left-hand finish by Horton Tucker, and Steve Prohm is going to take a timeout. And he had a word for Keith Kimball, and Kimball came after him. Oh, the players are trying to keep their coach from a technical. A timeout, everybody needs it. Carver Hawkeye Arena, over 15,000 on hand for the Cy-Hawk battle here with 4:04 to go. It's Iowa up 14, and we mentioned that the Hawkeyes came in stumbling a bit after losses to Wisconsin and Michigan State. There's a peek at the Big Ten standings.
Well, first of all, I said this last night on BT, and I think up to 11 teams in the Big Ten will feel in February like they have a chance to get in the tournament. But here's why this is so critical for momentum, because Iowa now 0-2. When they restart the Big Ten in January, they're at Purdue, home Nebraska, at Northwestern, home Ohio State. That's a danger zone right there if they're not playing good basketball when they get back into the Big Ten on the road.
Yeah, what a rough start. Face Wisconsin, Michigan State, and then pick it back up in Mackey Arena against Purdue. Better believe Iowa State figures to be a factor in the Big 12 next year.
Oh, they will be.
Of course, Kansas the favorite. That's a travel on McCaffrey.
Iowa State will be one of the top 4 teams in the Big 12 once they're healthy. Last season, they were the 1 out of the 10 that in February wasn't going to be vying for a tournament berth. Not obviously all 9 went in. As for the Big 10, this season, Nebraska last season finishes 4th. 13 Big 10 wins don't get in because 12 of their 13 were against teams not in the field. That's not going to happen this season. No team's going to go through that because the depth of this league is going to have so many teams in contention for bids.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Last year, an aberration. Horton Tucker, yes, and the foul. Iowa State keeps trying to get over the hump, and then Iowa punches back. We'll see what happens here. Still 3:42 left. But Horton Tucker quietly has 17 or 15 points. He's going for 16 here. Can't get it. 12-point game. Bohannon, his next three-pointer will be number 200 on his career. But he's been cold tonight. Now McCaffrey late in the shot clock. Taps his own miss back.
Although Cook was right around the basket, as expected.
So McCaffrey with 6 points, all here in the last 7 minutes. And a three from the corner by Tyrese Halliburton. And a timeout after the basket. We'll take it with them. Iowa State, they're not done yet. Come back for the finish.
You're nobody. Make sure that they don't have empty possessions from this point forward. I mean, it's an 11-point game, but it has felt at times like Iowa State's right there to cross that threshold. And so he's got to make sure that they are patient within reason here.
Let's take a look at our moment of the game, sponsored by Continental Tire, for what you do. And it is the scuffle that we had in the first half.
So Corda Pemsl draws the foul, or gets the foul actually is on him. And then there's the reaction. Now, I was not pleased with that reaction. Neither were most people on Iowa State. But I thought that gave them tremendous energy. Not that they needed it because of this rivalry game, but Pemsl in his first game since day one of the season has given them such a pop off the bench. More than those 8.6 rebounds. Those have been 16 valuable minutes. He has been the glue guy tonight.
Let's see on the bench right now, and Iowa's going to have to burn one of their remaining timeouts. Now they have 2 left, as that Iowa State defense picks up full court.
Well, he's got ball handlers on the court right now because he knows the pressure is coming. So it's a little bit of a smaller lineup for Fran McCaffrey.
Well, this is where his son helps, because last year Connor McCaffrey was supposed to play. He had mono, he had an ankle injury, and Bohannon had to play point the whole year, and that's not really what he's most comfortable with.
Yeah, he's much more in his comfort zone when he's playing off the ball and can just be that spot-up shooter.
So we'll see as this pressure continues, though, if that smaller lineup for Fran McCaffrey can get it beyond half court, because as Hawkeye Elvis knows, Iowa State's not out of this yet.
Is Hawkeye Elvis going up to Milwaukee?
He better go on the road. What do you think? And this time they get it across easily. McCaffrey, no foul called, but Bayer with the offensive rebound. It is a plus 20 rebounding advantage for Iowa.
That's a shocking statistic.
And McCaffrey, he has been much more aggressive in the second half on the offensive end. That's the 4th foul on Cameron Lard.
I mean, it's going to take Lard some time back from that 7-game suspension, but he's had to play valuable minutes this evening, and that's going to continue.
And the coach's son with his 7th point of the night.
How great is it going to be for Fran McCaffrey to have both sons playing here?
Yeah, Patrick coming next year, and obviously Connor and Patrick, when he gets here, they've been around this rivalry for a while. They may not have played in it, but they know what it's all about. Iowa going back to the zone. We've seen this a few times tonight.
There are more slashers than shooters on the floor right now for Iowa State.
Halliburton. Foul inside on the rebound.
And that was like the windshield washer. I mean, it was just going around and around. Wasn't going inside.
Steve Prohm trying to avoid his team dropping to 7-2, but we did mention the wins over Missouri, over Illinois, over San Diego State, the lone loss to Arizona.
And once again, I don't know if either school to this point has a win against the field.
Tournament win, yeah. Horton Tucker gets the first. He has 16.
But both schools are going to be fine in their league because there are going to be so many opportunities in the Big 12 and the Big 10. Big 10 is going to be the best league this season in the country. Sorry, ACC, it's going to be the Big 10.
It is stacked top to bottom.
But in the non-conference, this is a huge game. I just think more for Iowa based on what had just happened. And Iowa State has more room for growth because their best player isn't out on the floor.
There's a turnover. And Horton Tucker right to the rim. That press is giving Iowa fits. Iowa, they break the press, and Wieskamp throws it down.
How about that?
I think the ankle's okay.
Yes.
Foul on Iowa. 15,000 disagree.
Including Fran McCaffrey. This is not the Iowa you saw at Michigan State, but credit Michigan State because the Spartans needed to play that game. They did. They're the ones that made Iowa look so poor in East Lansing. And Iowa needed to bounce back, and they have. Now let's see in this last 123 if they can close it out. But Fran is hot.
Is he ever? Well, they gave up 90 in that game against Michigan State. They've scored 90 tonight and given up 79.
Well, he just wants to close this out. You know this game has so much meaning, but also when it is coming.
Ten-point game. The Iowa State lineup, number 23, Soren Talent.
And once again, the press applied. And McCaffrey is fouled 94 feet from the basket, and that is the 5th on Cam Lard. So Lard tonight 11 minutes after 10 in his return to the lineup last week against North Dakota State.
Jacobson coming back into the game.
Just 3 points for Lard, but as you said, Andy, as this season goes, he is going to be a key cog in that wheel for Steve Prohm.
But Prohm told us he's going to go small a lot. When he gets Wigginton back, he can do that even more. That may end up being his most effective lineup.
Yeah, the four-guard lineup's been really good for him to this point.
And in the Big 12, you've got the bigs at West Virginia, but they don't have good guard play. Kansas right now, Udoka Azubuike is out with an ankle injury. Outside of him, I don't know if there's another sort of true low-post physical player besides Konate at West Virginia.
McCaffrey knocks down both. He has 10 points all in this second half. Stop and pop, no good for Weiler-Babb. Rebound to Cook. Well, they're going to use a timeout here with just 3 seconds to get it across the timeline. 1 timeout remaining for the Hawkeyes. Iowa tonight has been outscored at the line 18-15, but you look at what they've done on the season, they've been pretty good.
So when they're in a position to close out a game, this is the huge plus for Iowa. They can feel comfortable, especially with their guards. If they get fouled, they're going to convert.
Made 106 more free throws than their opponents, and this is just the 9th game of the season. And nobody does a better job at getting fouled than Tyler Cook. He's already attempted over 60 free throws this year.
But they're going to want the ball in either Connor McCaffrey or Jordan Bohannon's hands to get fouled and get to the free throw line. We know how good a free throw shooter Jordan Bohannon is.
Yeah, those are your two go-to options. Cook, although he gets there a lot because of his physicality, he's only at 68%. They do get it to McCaffrey. And McCaffrey gets it across. The aforementioned Bohannon. Now it's a game of keep away. And if you're Iowa State, do you foul? I think Steve Prohm probably wanted him to play out the final 8 seconds, but instead the foul does come.
And you saw how quickly Bear got the ball back to Bohannon and McCaffrey. Basically, we're playing a game of keep away to make sure one of the two of them got to the line.
And McCaffrey stays perfect at the line tonight. On December 15th, that'll be Iowa's next game, Northern Iowa. And you see the upcoming slate, so should be able to win 4 in a row before heading to Purdue.
Well, never count the Northern Iowa game as a given. It's an in-state rivalry, and it's going to go by the wayside. Northern Iowa and Drake. Because of the 20-game Big Ten schedule, you got the Gavitt games, ACC Big Ten Challenge, and a tournament.
Good finish inside, Horton Tucker. Dangerous pass. Somehow it gets up to Wieskamp. And Wieskamp gets fouled. You know that the Cyclones may be down 12, but they're playing this to the final buzzer.
Joe Wieskamp to the line. He'll shoot 2.
Still hustling, still diving on the floor.
Well, Iowa State was on the floor. Little scoop up by Wieskamp.
We saw the upcoming slate for Iowa. Here's Iowa State's.
And the game to circle is Drake, because Iowa State is hoping that Young and Wigginton will be back for that game. Give them at least a game or 2 before they get into the Big 12 at Oklahoma State.
No for Horton Tucker. Acrobatic move, and now the Hawkeyes can smell it. Let's see if they foul, or are they just going to play this out? Steve Prohm. Yep, he called the dogs off indeed. Although there's still a 6-second difference, shot and game clock.
But the Cyclones aren't going to quit.
Bohannon with a little exclamation mark. Shayok, it's all window dressing at this point. And the Cy-Hawk showdown 2018 ends with a little shoving match.
Yep. Mike Eads got to make sure everyone is separated.
And now they're trying to drag Tyler Cook away.
Steve Prohm is clearly not happy about the way that Iowa ended this game.
No, you're right. He went right back to midcourt to shout some things at the Hawkeyes.
There's a reason this is a heated rivalry. But the officials compliment them in the way they have handled this game.
Iowa State lined up to do handshakes, and then Iowa went off the floor, and now Iowa State waited, and now their coaches let them leave.
Well, it's a heated rivalry for a reason. Both these coaches, Steve Prohm and Fran McCaffrey, have great respect for each other, but Prohm not happy about the way those final seconds ticked off. A lot of frustration. There was a lot of, let's see if there was a little bit of jawing here.
This is the last sequence.
So you've got McCaffrey and Shayok and Jacobson, who was at the beginning of this early on. There's Jacobson, frustration with McCaffrey. Prohm is in the middle of this, trying to separate everyone. Mike Eads, Keith Kirble. There's Prohm trying to make sure that there was nothing that was going to. Jordan Bohannon gets separated. And McCaffrey's trying to get Cook out of there.
Yeah, McCaffrey rips him away, and then Steve Prohm went back towards the Iowa bench for a couple final words.
He's telling him, get out of here.
Oh. Fireworks to the very end. 98-84. The Hawkeyes win the Cy-Hawk Showdown 2018 rendition. And they take bragging rights in the Hawkeye State for 365 days. Brandon Katz, I'm Brandon Gaudin signing off from Iowa City.